Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It is Thursday evening, which this week means only one thing, and that's looking ahead to Saturday's massive game against Sky Bet League One leaders Hull City. For once, we've had a full week off. No Tuesday game this week for the Gills after a run of 5 on the bounce, I think it was, starting back in the middle of February. So I think the week's rest will have done us good, give Steve Evans and Paul Rayner a chance to get the boys on the training ground. And for any of those that have been struggling with knocks and niggles, it gives them a chance to rest and recuperate ahead of what is a massive fixture if we want to keep ourselves in the playoff race. There's been a few bits going on, though, throughout the week, so I'll quickly have a look at them before we get on to the big match preview. Like I say, no first 11 fixture, but there was a Gills 11 that took on Luton Tuesday, I think it was. And happy to report the Gills came from 2-0 down to win 3-2. There was a double for Robbie McKenzie. And there was also one goal for the returning Dominic Samuel, who, according to Steve Evans today in his press conference, has been training well for the last 10 days. So he seems a bit ahead of schedule. And yeah, was fit enough to get 70 minutes, I think it was, in that friendly game behind closed doors. So it's great to have Dom back ahead of the run-in. Could be a key man, certainly a different option for us as we approach the business end of the season. So it'd be interesting to see whether he's in the 18 at all on Saturday or whether it comes a bit too soon and he has to wait for the Wigan game next Wednesday evening. One ex-player that's been in the press this week as well, our former captain Max Amar, got absolutely obliterated in the press by his now manager Joey Barton. Basically said he's not captain material, he's still making the same mistakes that he did when they were together at QPR. If you remember, Joey Barton was there at the end of his career and Max Amar was a youngster. And quite clearly seems that Mr. Barton is not a fan of Max. He's been hauled off at half-time in his last 2 appearances for Bristol Rovers, and Tuesday night wasn't even the 18 as they lost dismally 1-0 to a poor Swindon side who have gone above them and dropped the gas into the Sky Bet League One relegation zone. So work for Max Amar to do. Certainly hasn't worked out in terms of how he'd have wished when he left us to go over to Bristol Rovers in the summer. Just thought it was a bit harsh and a bit risky from Barton. I can clearly see why he's trying to do it and get a reaction from his players, but if Max is close to a few of the squad and he decides to down tools, what's to say that some of his teammates do as well, and then suddenly you've got half a dozen players that don't want to play for the club and don't want to play for the shirt. So a risky business from me for Joey Barton. It'll certainly be an interesting watch over the last few weeks to see if Bristol Rovers can get themselves out of trouble with or without Max Amar. And yeah, a little bit from Steve Evans and his mind games again, talking about the playoffs, all the pressures on everyone else according to Mr. Evans. Gills are relaxed ahead of the final 9 fixtures. We'll be the underdogs. We can go and play the likes of Hull with no pressure. And he talks about squeaky bum time and those above us with bigger budgets. Yes, it has come up again, and bigger playing squads that are under a lot more pressure to deliver us than us little old Gills. But that's the weekly roundup. There wasn't a great deal this week. Like I say, there was no midweek first team fixture. So I will quickly get into the preview for Saturday now when we travel very, very north to take on this team. Grant McCann's Hull City, who were relegated out of the Championship last season after a horrendous run. I think they sat 9th after halfway in the Championship, and then I think they only won 1 or 2 of their last 20 or so fixtures, which was absolutely awful. That can't have been any fun to watch for a fan of the Tigers, and they dropped back into the 3rd tier for the first time in a few years. I spoke about them on my pre-season video, said I think they had a good squad, but would they be able to adapt to League One quick enough? Had them to finish 7th. But they've done really well, and that's why they're top of the league. But before I talk more and look at the form, etc. in more detail, I'm going to leave you now with the thoughts of Ant Norgraves. You can find him on Twitter at Ant Norgraves. He's the co-host of the Hull and Back podcast. I think that's an Only Fools and Horses reference for people that are of a certain vintage. But yeah, here's Ant with all his thoughts on Hull City.
Now then, our season's been quite a funny one really, because a lot of City fans didn't expect. We knew that the squad that we had assembled was definitely able to fight for promotion, but with McCann in charge and the entire capitulation of last season, a lot of us expected that kind of downward spiral to continue and even be maybe mid-table, if not in another relegation fight. So yeah, it was quite a quite a weird start to the season. And then obviously results-wise, we did start very well. We were getting clean sheets for fun. We were scoring goals. We looked dangerous. Everybody's expectations changed, and we realised that even with this squad, maybe some of the tactical discrepancies of McCann didn't really matter, and the squad would just carry him to either promotion, playoffs, title. Either one would probably do. Then we hit some bad form come December. Some of the same issues as last season arrived. Like we only play one way. There's no plan B. If you can nullify our plan A, then you'll beat us probably. We can't score. We've had games where we've not had shots on target. I think we had 5 games in a row before, and we only had 1 shot on target amongst all 5. Might be wrong there. It might be 4 games, but it was quite concerning. And we thought, obviously, with all the other games in hand on the other teams around us, that they would just catch us and that we would probably just falter. Didn't turn out like that. We've hit some more good form. It looks like it's turned it round. We've changed the approach a bit. We've stopped lumping long balls up front now, which is good. We've started playing on the floor, which is definitely our strength. And it looks like it's going to be between us, Sunderland and Peterborough for the top 2 places, so that's good. Still not a McCann fan. Title, I think, could go a long way to try and change a lot of City fans' minds. We don't think he has it in him to keep us up in the Championship. That is left to be seen. Key players wise, I think we've got Malik Wilkes, obviously top scorer, 20 goals, very dangerous on his day. If he's having an off day, you won't see anything from him for 90 minutes, but if he's having a good game, he could score 2 or 3 against you. George Honeyman, midfielder, set piece specialist this season. He's on 12 or 13 assists. Everything's tend to go through him, even in the games. He's box to box, he's everywhere, he's making tackles, he's creating chances. Not just his dead ball, which is the brilliant aspect of his game, but everything that he's doing this season has been amazing. Definitely our player of the year so far for me. Another one would be Doherty. Greg Doherty is another one in the box-to-box form. He comes back. Our play tends to start with him. He comes back, collects the ball from Alfie Jones, and he'll link the play with Honeyman and the front forwards like Lewis Potter and McGuinness, probably Eves against you guys. So he's another one that our player tends to go through. If you don't nullify if you manage to stranglehold our midfield, then you'll have a very good game against us, because they are definitely our strength. If we can't get the ball to our front 3, then we don't create anything, and we won't play another system. So if you can manage to nullify that middle 3, then you'll be sorted. Gillingham wise, I know that you've hit some form lately. I've had a look, and you're scoring 3 goals quite often, which is quite a concern, because on our day we can be quite liable defensively. We've had a lot of clean sheets, but if we're not at the races, then we can be quite vulnerable at the back. Could have done us a bit more of a favour with Doncaster. I'm not going to lie, but you got a draw, so that'll do. It looks like you could be dark horses for that top 6 place. If you pick up a bit of form, especially if you beat us today, which is quite worrying, because it gives you a bit of motivation to grab that impetus. You've got no pressure on you really against us. Really go for the jugular and try and put us under the cosh, which we don't really like. If you press us high, we're not a fan. We can't deal with it. We just hit the ball long, and that's not our strength. Quick bit on Steve Evans is I hate him. Everyone hates Steve Evans, but he'll get results from you. So he's the kind of manager that gets under everybody's skin. But if he's your manager, you kind of love it, don't you? So yeah, I think it'll be a good game. My score prediction would be, I'm going to go 2-1 Hull. 2-1 Hull. Be a good game. Gillingham taking the lead, and then we'll turn it round. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for that, and plenty of good stuff in there for us Gills fans to have a listen to. Interesting that you talk about Grant McCann as well. Now, the fan base of Hull probably didn't trust him to mount a really serious promotion push this season, so it seems in that sense he might have proved a few of your supporters and your fan base a little bit wrong. Whether it means he's good enough to coach you in the Championship if you do bounce back up at the first attempt remains to be seen, but I'd imagine he'll get a chance at it if you do go up. But it was interesting to listen to you talk about potentially it's the players that are essentially too good for League One that are actually getting you into this position, rather than the tactical know-how of McCann. But that's obviously something you people know more about, having watched Hull City every week throughout the season. Obviously, we only see you twice throughout the campaign. But yeah, some really good bits there. So we move on now to the form guide. Last 6 in League One. We'll start with Hull. It's nice and easy. It's a draw in their last game against Shrewsbury. It was 5 wins before then. So it's 16 points from the last 18 available. They're absolutely flying, and that's why they're at the summit of Sky Bet League One. Gills, though, in decent form themselves. There's a solitary defeat in our last 6. 4 wins and 2 draws. Gives us 13 points from 18 available over the last half dozen. So we can go up there with confidence. Know that if we put in a proper performance and do everything that we have to do, we're going to give ourselves a chance of picking up a positive result. Home and away. Hull are a bit weird. I spoke to Ant yesterday before getting him to send me the video. I think it was or someone on Twitter, and said that you wouldn't want to back both teams to score because you have to go back to mid-February, I think it is, before both sides scored in a league game at the KC. And their form at home is weird. 3 wins on the bounce, but before that 2 defeats and a draw. So that gives them 10 points from the last 18. Gills have got exactly the same points tally. So 2 wins, 3 wins, a draw and 2 defeats as well. So absolutely mirrors Hull's points tally, just in a slightly different order. So it has all the makings of being a really good game. Like I say, we can go out there and play with confidence and put ourselves about and see if we can come away with something which would be really good and keep us in the playoff mix. And even if we do fall short, ultimately, it's been great to be able to talk about the top 6 with only 9 games to go. In terms of Hull, looking at their squad, no Josh McGuinness and no Gavin White due to international duty. McGuinness has got 11 in League One this season, so he'll be a big miss. Be interesting whether Tom Eaves gets an opportunity. But looking at previous games, they've used the likes of Malik Wilkes and Keane Lewis Potter in the centre forward position like a false 9. So they've got plenty of options in attacking areas. Got Alfie Jones as well, former Gills Lone Star, who was really good for us. Went to Hull on a permanent in the summer, and he's been getting lots of game time recently and playing a part in their success. So great to see Alfie doing well, but let's hope he has a shocker at the weekend. But they've got plenty of other good players. Reece Burke, Greg Docherty, George Honeyman. These are all the players that Ant's already mentioned. Keane Lewis Potter, I've just mentioned. Richie Smallwood, loads of experience. Malik Wilkes, I think, has got 17 in League One. Pace, power, knows where the back of the net is. Even if he likes to have an argument with teammates over penalties from time to time. So we're going to have to be at it from whistle to whistle again. We know that. We're not going to just be able to turn up and pick up points. But we're in good form ourselves, like I say. So it'll be interesting to see how we go. In terms of our team news, no Callum Slattery. We know that. He's back at Southampton having treatment on that ankle injury. Dominic Samuel, will he be on the bench? Will it be too soon? I'm not sure. There are doubts, according to Steve Evans, over Robbie Cundy and Alex McDonald. He said he's going to give them every chance to be available to train in the North on Friday ahead of selection for Saturday. For me, if Alex McDonald and Robbie Cundy are both available, they both start. I'm going to make one change from last weekend, and this is nothing against John Akindi, but looking at the way Hull play, they tend to set up in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. So I think we might need an extra midfielder in there. We was a little bit open against Doncaster playing 4-4-2. Alex McDonald did brilliant to tuck in, but obviously if he was up the pitch and Carl Dempsey was up the pitch and Donny turned over possession quickly, it left Stuart O'Keefe isolated a few times, and we can't afford to be doing that against a team that's top of the league. So for me, it'd be Jack Bonham in goal, a back four of Ryan Jackson, Jack Tucker, Robbie Cundy and Connor Ogilvie. I would then go with Carl Dempsey and Stuart O'Keefe in a double pivot in front, and then Jordan Graham, Ollie Lee and Alex McDonald behind for Dane Oliver. So John Akindi drops to the bench. My bench would be Sacha Bastien, Robbie McKenzie, Tommy O'Connor, Matty Willock, Tyreek Johnson, John Akindi, and I'd put Dominic Samuel on there. If he's got 70 minutes in the week, we don't have to, excuse me, don't have to use him necessarily, but it'd be great to have him in the squad and around the first team, and probably give everybody a boost. And who knows, we might get 10, 15, 20 minutes out of him. Right, that is enough from me. All that I've got left to do before I let you go and enjoy your evening is score prediction. Now, I know I've already said that if you're looking at Hull's fixtures in the league over the last couple of months, you shouldn't back both teams to score. I know Ant's gone for 2-1 to Hull, so he's gone against the grain of that statistic over the last 60 days or so, and so am I. I'm going to be more positive. I'm going to go for a score draw, and I'm going to say a final score of Hull City 1, Gillingham 1, and I've got a back for Dane Oliver to score our goal, haven't I? Right, that is enough from me this evening. Go and enjoy your Thursday evening. Got England on the box Tomorrow's Friday. We're very close to the weekend again. Keep checking out the Third Tier podcast. Over 700 followers now, and there is a small rumour that there are Third Tier podcast mugs being made available for giveaways. I've seen a sneak peek of both. They look brilliant, so looking forward to seeing one of them. Might even get one myself. You never know. Hint, hint, Tom. And obviously keep checking out Fan Hub. Waiting list is well over 1,000 now. I think there's over 2,000 people involved. It's great to see. Get yourselves on the leaderboard by picking the correct team, reading club-related articles, and then obviously, like I've said over and over again, once we can get back into stadiums next season, it will really start to take off even more. That is enough from me this evening, though. Go and enjoy the rest of your evening. Friday tomorrow, nearly the weekend. Be back Saturday for a match day live against the league leaders. But until next time, up the Gills.